Engañado para Chillán. 150 personas. Sí, sí, sí. Paquillot. Distinguished guests, in 1 minute we are going to start the Chile Day, so I invite all of you to have a seat and those who are outside to come in, please. Thank you. The simultaneous interpretation will be provided with your devices, and channel 7 is for Korean and channel 8 is for English. Yo traduzco. Sentados, sentados súper atrás. Con el colegio. You tell me when. Okay, yep, no problem. For our guests, I remember that simultaneous interpretation will be provided. Channel 7 is for Korean, channel 8 is for English. Los etafé, perdón. Sumario. Pero ya se ve más lleno. Ya está. Falta más adelante. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Distinguished guests, welcome to the H2 Meet Chile Day, the green hydrogen industry development in Chile. Chonunanul, Saurul, Mate Queen, Chile de Sakwang Yongsa, Lucas Pavesinida, Manaso Pangapsunida. This event is hosted by the Chile Embassy in Korea in collaboration with the Chile Ministry of Energy, Invest Chile, and Hanyang University. Its goal is showing to all the companies and stakeholders the opportunities that Chile offers for the international partners and Korean investors interested in a top-level hydrogen energy industry as Chile is. Our country, located in the southernmost area of South America, has been working for decades in the development of renewable energies, decarbonization of its economic matrix, and strengthening of capacities for the export of green energy to the world. Please, avail of this meaningful instance to learn more about the potential of Chile and its green hydrogen industry. Firstly, let me offer the floor to the Ambassador of Chile to the Republic of Korea, Mr. Matthias Franke, for his welcoming remarks. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
The stair was that side, not here. Annyeonghaseyo, thank you very much for being here. Your presence here, thank you again, is an additional signal of the interest that the green hydrogen sector in Chile has among the Korean business, and that's also an encouragement to us as an embassy and the Chilean government to continue our bilateral cooperation on this area. This year, 2024, we celebrated 20 years since entry into force of the free trade agreement between Chile and Korea. This agreement opened the door to a fruitful and highly dynamic trade relationship. Today, our bilateral trade is 4 times bigger than in 2004, with more goods being exchanged between both countries. But we need to look into the future. Our economies and our integration to the world are quite different than 2 decades ago. The world economy has changed. Global geopolitical challenges and climate change, to mention a few, are altering the way we produce things and the manner we trade them. The eruption of the digital revolution, e-commerce, and new concepts such as energy and food security oblige us to rethink how we want to and how we need to design our future. An additional challenge for the bilateral relationship is to increase the flows of Korean investment in Chile. While, as mentioned, trade has increased, steadily grown in the last years, we haven't seen a similar pattern regarding foreign direct investment, particularly if we compare it with capital flows into Chile coming from other countries, including from the same region. Clean renewable energies, and especially green hydrogen, are one of the sectors we see great potential for increased economic collaboration between Chile and Korea. Already in 2021, both countries recognized this potential, and a memorandum of understanding on low-carbon hydrogen was signed by both ministers. Last year, on the occasion of the visit to Seoul of our Minister of Energy, Diego Pardo, the first implementation meeting of the MOU took place, and tomorrow teams from both countries will meet for a second time. One of the 4 pillars of the energy transition in Chile is acceleration of green hydrogen and the derivatives deployment in Chile so as to contribute to the carbon neutral global commitment. 4 years ago, the National Green Hydrogen Strategy was published with 6 pillars, and it was followed by an action plan released early this year, which built the focus of today's events, and you have a copy of that in your desks. Throughout these years, we have become the top 1 recipient of investment in green hydrogen in Latin America. 5 gigawatts of electrolysis capacities either in operation or in construction, and we expect by next year to have 200 kiloton a year under development or installed capacity. To reach all this and to prepare for the future, calls for financing green hydrogen projects have been launched. Studies have been undertaken together with key international organizations and agencies, while agreements have been reached with financial institutions such as the World Bank. Today, you will have the opportunity to listen directly from experts from our Ministry of Energy about the latest developments in the H2 sector in Chile, as well as the investment opportunities for Korean companies. I want to thank Maria Elena Lee, Head of the International Affairs Bureau, and Alex Santander, Head of the Strategic Planning and Sustainable Development Mission, both from the Chilean Ministry of Energy. and as well to Catalina Perez, manager of the international network from Invest Chile, the foreign investment promotion agency in Chile, for coming all the way to Korea from Chile and being here with us. Also, thank you, Dr. Kim Young-kyo from Hanyang University for being here with us. Please take advantage of the presence of these friends here to ask questions and to interact with them. I hope you enjoy today's events and find it useful, leading to consider Chile as your next business partner in this dynamic sector, critical for our economies in the path to decarbonization. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Franke. To continue our schedule, please let me introduce Mr. Alex Santander, Director of the Strategic Planning and Sustainable Development Division of the Chile Energy Ministry, who came from Chile. Director Santander will enlighten us with the presentation of Chile's Green Hydrogen Action Plan 2023-2030 that, as you can check on your tables, has been translated to Korean especially for this occasion. Please, Director Santander, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time, so such an amazing event, too. So, yeah, we are so happy for sharing with you the Korean version of our Green Hydrogen Action Plan. So I'm going to try to do a very brief presentation about that. Only the highlights related with the Green Action Plan, because you can read, and whatever you need, you can ask, of course. So, as they said, I'm Alex Santander. I'm the Director of Strategic Planning and Sustainable Development at the Ministry of Energy in Chile. So, I'm going to try, I'm going to talk about Green Hydrogen Action Plan, but not also about that, also about the hydrogen as well and decarbonization process as well. So the first things that I want to show you is as a country, we want the political instruments when we need to moving on, considering so important challenges related with the energy sector. We developed the first energy policy in 2015, and the updated was in the 2022, And in this policy, we included the green hydrogen as an important industry for Chile for the decarbonization process as well. But this kind of instrument, it's so strategic and political instrument, and we define what and when we need some goals in our energy decarbonization process. But we needed some instrument more dedicated in specific actions for short-term and mid-term. So in the energy policy, we established different goals. For example, main goals for the electrical power system. We're gonna do 100% zero emissions energy by 2050, 70% of our fuels, non-electric energy end uses by 2050, more than 80% of renewable energy by 2030, and more than 2 gigawatts of storage power system by 2032. But this is not about energy only. We need to mix this kind of policy with our environmental commitment as well. So, as a country, in 2020, we committed to be a carbon neutral country, as you too. But in 2022, we enacted a framework climate change law that established by law the legal mandate to be a carbon neutral and resilient country before 2050. And this is so important because it's not only a commitment today, it's a legal mandate that we need to achieve. And considering that, our objectives main objective is to be, as I said, a carbon neutral and resilient economy before 2050. So that is our energy mix. In the left side of on the screen, you can see the historical conditions. As a country, we import today more than 60% of fossil fuels for our energy uses as well. Our energy demand is provided by 74% of fossil fuels directly, and only provided by 22% of direct electricity system. We have today a power electrical system composed by 55% of renewable energy, considering an important increasing of variable renewable energy composed by solar power and wind power and hydropower too. But in the right side of the screen, you can see the future, the projected conditions for two different scenarios related with our long-term energy planning. But the conclusion is the same. We need to increase, importantly, our electricity power system in 2 times or 3 times at least, in order to provide more energy uses with electricity directly. And you can see in yellow color the importance of green hydrogen for our economy, because we have a lot of energy uses that cannot be electrified directly, and we need to consider hydrogen or any derivatives produced by hydrogen as ammonia, among others. So the green hydrogens, it's gonna represent near to 16 or 17% of our energy uses as well. So it's so important for our local demand. But as a country, we have very important natural resources for produce energy, green hydrogen as well. So we want to be one of the most important exporter of energy, green hydrogen as well. And this is the importance why Chile wants to be one of the most important exporters of green hydrogen and green ammonia to the worldwide. So, as I said, we had in a moment a lot of instruments looking for 2050 to the long term, and the importance was to put the attention in the midterm. So a midterm consensus building is so required in this moment when we need to move forward with actions and pragmatic actions today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, of course. So we know where we're headed, but we're building how to get there with very specific action that you can read in the green hydrogen energy action plan. Sorry. So 2030 is the goal today, to have the first movers projects activated in the state. So we have very different sectoral instruments, the National Energy Policy, you can see in green color, the National Strategy for Green Hydrogen, and now we created the Green Hydrogen Action Plan in pink color, you can see that. And it's a very pragmatic instrument, it's not a visionary instrument as well, it's define who needs to do something, when, and how. And this is so important because it's a very, very good, important instrument to create an accountability system for all of the agents of the energy sector as well. And in the right side on the screen, you can see different instruments, pragmatic instruments related with the short-term and mid-term. For example, the Green Hydrogen Action Plan in the left side, a decarbonization plan that is going to be released in the next month, in the next month, and climate change, energy climate change, a mitigation and adaptation plan that now it's under a public consultation in our country. So, our Green Hydrogen National Strategy has 6 pillars, different pillars, a mission-oriented policy, efficient route to a zero-emission country, green hydrogen as an engine for local development, international openness, new clean air export economy, and balanced use of resources and territory. And I think that it's one of the most important things because produce green hydrogen requires a lot of territory on lands to locate it different kind of energy, renewable energy projects. And we are working a lot in planning instruments in order to ensure the best use of our lands for this important industry. And talking about green hydrogen, we define that with a very strong participatory process as well. We consider an advisory council, and a strategic committee, a public consultation, and civic workshop. So strong because all our policies are designed with a very strong participatory process as well. This is so important for us. So, in the case of a strategic committee, we know this plan with a horizon to 2030 requires a very broad vision, a political vision, and in expertise visions as well. So, we designed a strategic committee to provide strategic and policy guidance with broad consensus among participants, to constitute a high-level framework for the Green Hydrogen Action Plan and build a policy narrative that communicates nationally and internationally the country's hydrogen guidelines as well. So you can see the former president, Michelle Bachelet, for example, the former Minister of Energy, Juan Carlos Llobet, and it's very important to do or to have two different ministers, the former minister and the current minister, working together for the same vision and national vision with different political sign, of course, but with a very, very common state vision as well. And this is the importance and the strong in our instruments. We put the state vision instead only a government vision as well. This committee has a lot of sessions, and they defined, I'm not going to read that, it's not, I don't have that much time for that, but only you can I show you this strategic committee defined different dimensions as a borders for our Green Hydrogen Action Plan. In environmental topics, in international topics as well, economic dimension, human capital and technological development, and citizenship dimension too. You can read later, of course. And this is our instruments coherent between them. We have a green hydrogen national strategy as well, launched in 2020 with 6 strategic pillars, as I said previously. We have today an important document elaborated by the strategic committee with 5 objective targets and the Green Hydrogen Action Plan that you can read in your now. So the most important things, talking about timelines, in this decade we defined 2 different time slots. The first one, between today and 2026, it's about investment signals, standards, and buyers. And it's so important in this case to promote and to incentive the first movers projects in this kind of industry. We know today we have a gap between green hydrogen and hydrogen produced by pollutant fuels, but we need to do all our effort in order to concrete these first movers in this way. And a second stage between 2026 approximately and 2030 plus focus on product linkage and decarbonization as well. And in this moment, we believe the industry it's going to be consolidate as well, because the green markets are going to be open around the world, and it's more easy to concrete projects before that. But today is the day of the first movers, and we need to promote that as well. Only for the record, this Green Hydrogen Action Plan has defined a governance, so strong in governance that you can read in the document. And you can see with more details the role of every organization in this kind of governance. So important to mention that hydrogen plan was developed with a strong participatory process, but also considering a joint work with different organizations. More than 18 ministries, and Corfo, it's our Chilean Economy Development Agency, worked in this action plan as well, and plus 14 another organisms, public organisms too, international cooperation, and we have a lot of work with private sector too. The private sector is so important because it's in charge of the projects as well. So, in summary, the Green Hydrogen Action Plan defines 18 different action lines. I'm going to tell you right now, with 81 different actions with milestones during 2023 and 2030, and more than 107 control milestones for a specific PMO control and accountability. Only for the record, if you can talk and or study some action line in specific, you can see the technical teams in charge in the Ministry of Energy in every line of actions. So I'm gonna show you so fast this part, but this is the action plan. A Gantt chart with for every line of action with different measures and different milestones defined, specifically for considering a date, who is in charge, the responsible under the measure, and it's so good for accountability. This kind of way to show the green hydrogen action plan. So the first line of action is related with governance and multi-stakeholder participation. Only that for now. The second one, number 2, information, dissemination, and civic education. The third, related with economic and financial mechanisms to boost the industry. And this is so important because you can read about different incentives related with tax incentive, for example, for a better cash flow for the industry. And another incentives as, for example, a financial facility to get better conditions for projects when we need some credits or financial. Number 4, related with environmental management. Number 5, with industry sustainability. Number 6, regulatory enablement. Yeah, and it's so important because a few weeks ago, we launched a regulatory plan with a specific normative and regulation to change and to create in order to ensure the deployment of the green hydrogen projects. 7, and so important too, permitting system. This is so important because we need to ensure this kind of projects, it's so huge project as well, need to be so efficient in the permitting system as well. Because when the permits, it's already, the projects could be to find the final investment decision conditions in order to move forward to another stage in the deployment of the green hydrogen projects. Number 8, and so important too, territorial compatibility and integration projects. Number 9, enabling infrastructure development. It's a lot of information here, I know that, but you can read later. Number 10, demographic challenge of the energy transition. Number 11, electrical transmission and energy costs, and this is so important too because we know these kind of projects when they need to connect to the electrical power system, need to pay the lateral cost of or a transmission cost, and it's so important to define what they need to pay in order to incentive this kind of industry. Number 12, uses for decarbonization national economy. And it is so important because Chile is going to be an exporter of green hydrogen, but also we need to ensure a local demand because, as I said in the first slide, we need green hydrogen and derivatives for our own decarbonization and for achieving our commitments related with the environmental and climate action. 13, demonstrative projects. 14, boosting productive linkage, of course. In 15, strengthening and development of human capital. This is not only investment, but also is a human capital opportunity, of course, for our countries. 16, and so important, this is a new industry as well. So we need to establish different standards related with gender perspective in the industry as well. 5 minutes. 17, boosting research, development, and innovation. And the last one, 18, is related with opening of international markets. Chile, it's an open market economy, you know that, and this line of action is so important because we need to ensure that our products, it's going to be green in the future, and green hydrogen, it's a very, very good partner in this committed. So, telling that, today we have 7 milestone or finished milestone as well. So the plan is moving right now. It's happening. We have more than 70 milestone with different stage of work, initiated milestones, and this is moving right now, as I said. And this is our country, and you can see different state of projects located about our country. In the left side, you can see the north of our country, and in the right side, you can see the extreme south of our country. But this is all projects, planning projects, development projects, all of that. But in this slide, this one, you can see the projects under development right now. In the yellow color, you can see 5 projects operating right now related with green hydrogen. Demonstrative projects, of course. And in the blue color, you can see different projects under development with their studies entered to the environmental assessment system. And they know we're going to have a lot of projects entering in the next weeks and next month too. So it's so important for us because we are living right now the industrial projects procedure. So this is our regulation work plan. It was developed by different ministries in the country, and something that I think this is important for you to know. Our legislation recognizes a different system for projects of green hydrogen that it's going to be connected to the electrical power grids. And we define in our electrical law, by a modification produced in 2021, a generation consumption system as well. What is that? It's a demand connected to the grid, can produce its own energy with renewable sources, connected in only one point to the system, to electrical power system, and can inject excess of energy to the grid. When considering demand charges, it will only pay, and this is so important, it will only pay for the demand and power taken from the grid, and not for all the demand need for the production of the green hydrogen as well. So this might be an enabler for green hydrogen projects, as they will count on self-generation at a large scale and take energy and power from the grid during sometimes blocks or occasionally. Otherwise, they could be charged for the entire demand. And this is so important because we need to create an incentive for this kind of projects, and they need to pay only for the energy and power taken from the grid. So right now we are developing a study for assessing the payment scheme of the energy and power taken from the grid by generation consumption systems. And this study will assess these payment schemes using a transmission expansion planning model, accounting for a systemic perspective of the uses. So this year, to the finish by late 2024, in accordance with the action number 47, we are going to have our results for this kind of generation consumption regulation as well. So saying that, only for the record, 1 minute, we are working right now in financial mechanism and incentives. Financial facility, we are working in contract for difference with different stakeholders and partnerships around the world, for example, H2 Global or similar. We are working right now in the carbon pricing market. We are developing right now an ETS system, and we expect to have a pilot, an ETS pilot during the next year. And this is so important to impulse by market these kind of projects. We are working in fiscal lands, only for the record, research and development law, and tax incentives as well. Permitting system improving, and another things that we can talk in the Q&A space, I think, because my time is off. But only for the record, this is the last one, the last one slide that I want to show. This is our accountability today for you. We are designing a PMO control for the Green Hydrogen Action Plan. We have 18 action lines. 100 have already begun implementation. 81 actions, 44% have already started to develop, and 174 milestones, and 6% are already complete, 7th milestone, as I said before. So the Ministry of Energy is installing follow-up and monitoring mechanism for the plan's commitments under the approving decree signed by the President of the Republic and ministries involved in the industry, the 18 ministers, as I said. So we can have a follow-up of the fulfillment of each milestones and action, a PMO project management methodology, designation of a specific responsible persons per institutions, and measurable milestones and clear deadlines as well. So I think this is it for now. Thank you so much. And the action plan, it's already in your hands. And every things that you need to do related with that, you can tell me, of course. Thank you so much.
Many thanks, Director Santander, for your detailed presentation. For sure, we can have more time during the Q&A session to get deep into this topic. And now it's turn for our second speaker, Ms. Catalina Perez, Invest Chile International Network Manager, officer in charge of the National Investment Attraction for Asia Pacific, and who also traveled 18,000 kilometers to address her speech today to us. Manager Perez will present Investment Attraction Policy of Chile highlights for energy industry. Please receive her with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Lucas, for the introduction. Yes, well, thank you, everyone, to be here today and hear us about what we are currently doing with the green energy and also green hydrogen industry. My presentation is going to be something that we are currently doing at the agency. I'm not going to talk in detail about the green hydrogen or green industry because that's why Alex is here. I'm not I'm such an expert in the matter. But what I wanted to share with you today is what we are, as I mentioned, actually doing for the industry, how we are supporting the projects that we are currently have in our portfolio, and of course, what Invest Chile does, and also what is our purpose to be a public agency that promotes and attracts foreign direct investment into the country. I'm going to take this. This is kind of like a high phone. Okay. Just to put you in the map, I want to mention some FDI benefits and why Invest Chile actually exists. And it's because FDI benefits is actually something that brings economic growth and competitiveness into the country, create more employment opportunities and human capital development, improvements in lives, and also wage increases, more and good practices into the country, better environmental standards, among others. This is everything that we are currently doing also with the green industry in energy and also green hydrogen. But for this have sense, actually the country needs to have an appropriate policy to receive this FDI, and I think Chile is such an expert in that. So that's why I'm here trying to convince you that Chile is the best country to invest in green hydrogen. And also, just to justify and support my previous slide, I just want to show you how is Chile currently doing in numbers of FDI. And if you can see here, I'm not quite sure if he's actually working. Well, anyway. Global flows of foreign direct investment decreased the last year in comparison to 2022, sorry, in 1.8%. Okay, so this could be explained by several different things, just the war in Ukraine, the persistence of control from COVID in countries like China, which is our main partner in economic exports, among others. Maybe also the rise of interest rates that makes investment more expensive, and also some negative perspective from the financial market for the signal recessions, okay? But what happened with Chile? We increased our foreign direct investment. And this is also a lot because since 2015 until last year, 2023, we have increasing 19.2% our foreign direct investment. So this shows how Chile is actually doing well to receive the foreign direct investment, creating as Alex mentioned, new incentives, new policies to receive new investment in industries like green hydrogen or green energy, among others. What happened in Latin America? Because we are actually a hub in Latin America to develop several projects and also several new industries. Latin America actually has no variation in 2023 comparison with 2022, and we are still growing. If we could mention also, we have competitors as Brazil, which is our natural receipt for foreign direct investment, and also Mexico, but Chile is still increasing in the FDI reception. Passing the data and the numbers that justify our work as a public agency, I want to mention what we do. We're a public agency that belongs to the Ministry of Economy in Chile. We advise more than 700 companies every single year, and we offer services for several different stages of the investment process. Pretty tailor handmade, because for every single company, we need different kind of services. It depends on the stage that they are, the project that they have, and also the industry that they belong. So we try to move in these different services and try to give you the best information so you can actually take the best decision once you decide to invest abroad, okay? We have a portfolio of 450 projects at the end of the 2023. Maybe we have a little bit more right now. This is, of course, for a quantity of more than $33 billion. Who we are, and this is our main purpose as agency, is try to promote and attract the foreign direct investment into Chile, but also try to diversify and sophisticate our productive matrix. We are a natural export. You know, Chile is pretty well famous in Asia because we export wine, we export cherries, pork, among others. But Imbecile is trying to boost the FDI for diversify our productive matrix and try to add value to all the processes and the change in Chile. We generate quality jobs. This is our, I think, key KPI that we have in the agency, try to create more jobs for Chilean people, promote the transfer of technologies, capacities, knowledge, best practices, and also promote the productive linkages with the local economics and economic networks inside of the Latin America region. I think something I'm going to take from this slide, which is the next one, is that we have a proactive strategy to seek investment into the country. And why is that? Is because we have a committee of ministers that is headed by the Ministry of Economy, and also is composed for several ministries such as finance, agriculture, public works, mining, foreign affairs, among others. Ministry of Energy is one of our main actors in this committee of ministers. So this committee actually lead us in what is going to be the strategy for the year to go and seek new foreign direct investment into the country. Of course, green hydrogen, as you can see, is one of our main industries to seek more FDI for Chile. What we do in theory, because we in the practice, what we do is trying to offer services for the company, but in the theory, what we're trying to do for the country is generate an incremental investment in the economy with a proactive strategy, of course, approved by the ministry committee, but also trying to undisclosed competitive advantages of high impact for the country's economic development, investment for Chile to be the part of the fourth industrial revolution, and also investment with impact that can help us to reach the sustainable development that we want to have in Chile. We contribute with this to increase the probability of investment materialization. Is something that we actually want to do all the time, all the projects came into the country, and of course, that can be materialized in a short term. We estimate that the time that one company takes from once they arrive into Chile trying to explore new opportunities until it's materialized, until it's set up the company or the project in Chile is around 4 years. With our services and our assistance, we try to diminish this time in maybe 2.5 years or 3, more or less. We influence, of course, and accelerate the decision making because so many companies come into Chile trying to see what is Chile, what we do, how is the ecosystem in business. But also we trying to make that Chile could be in the short list. We have very good competitors in Latin America, such as Brazil and Mexico, as I mentioned to you before, but also Colombia, even Argentina, that has some tools for the investors that can be very seductive when they are trying to, invest abroad. And something that I really want, that I really like for Invest Chile is that we reduce the information. What we do is try to facilitate your decision, trying to give you all the information that the market has to offer so you can actually take the best decision for your company with all the information into the table. No sé qué pasa ahora. Well, sorry, I skipped this slide. I said before the main purpose that we have in theory, because actually what we do in the practice is this. We assist the companies in these 4 stages that we have recognized as the investment process. The prospection, which is actually when the company doesn't know what is Chile and is trying to, expand their business in other region, in other continent. So we take the company, we try to show all the information, the ecosystem that Chile has. Then we have a pre-investment stage when it's Chile already in the short list of countries that can be destiny of the new project. We have then the landing, which is actually the first part when you hire your first employee in Chile and also when you decide to set up the company. And then we have a final stage, which is reinvestment, when the company is already in Chile, but you want to expand your business also in the country, or maybe you want to diversify your portfolio in a new other industry. So we try to, of course, advise in all these process in every single stage, which with tailor-made services as you could need. Our strategy to promote the FDI, we have 2 ways. We have some incentives. Chile doesn't have an actual incentive for foreign direct investment. It's not that if you want to set up your company, we give you money or something. It's just that we think and we strongly believe that Chile has so much potential to receive this foreign direct investment. So we actually have tax incentive as double taxation agreements. We have 25 double taxation agreements. We have 23 free trade agreements. We have VAT refund, a VAT exception for capital goods. If you are importing capital goods for around $5 million, you can be VAT refund. We also have some law. Alex mentioned the, Corfo, which is the Economic Development Agency of the country, that has so many programs as just R&D law, which is a tax credit. So we have several different incentives or several different programs. And one thing that Chile has is that once you are in Chile, you are going to be treated just as a local company. You are not going to pay any different taxes. You're not going to have any different complication. It's just the same for the local companies as the international companies. We have also financial incentives and regulatory incentives, advisory and visa support, which is something that we are facing quite a lot in Chile, is that we are having so many delays with the visa processes. So Invest Chile, when you are an investor, trying to speed up this process so actually the companies can have their teams working in Chile with no trouble at all. Facilitators, Alex also mentioned this in detail, but we, of course, try to facilitate the permits processes. We are currently working in the draft law of sectorial permits, the draft law in environmental assessment, and strengthening, of course, the processing of services with these critical permits. You know, we are quite aware that the permits and the environmental assessment can be an issue for the company. So we try to, of course, help in this process, try to advise you in the better way with the sectorial ministries, if it's in the case the industry of energy with the Ministry of Energy, if it's in the infrastructure with the Ministry of Public Works, and so on. Something that also is currently working quite well for projects that are from the green hydrogen industry or green energy is that this kind of like a small units at the Ministry of Economy with big projects offices. Also at the Ministry of Energy, we have a projects support unit. And in Chile, so we work quite together to try to boost and help you with this process of investment, and so you can actually be kind of like chill with your decision and your project. Something that I mentioned before, we have a very robust foreign investment regime. We have an equal treatment for every single company. If you want to bring your money into Chile and develop a new project, you can actually take your money back whenever you want. We have also a pro-business environment. As I told you, we have a simple tax structure. You don't have to pay anything more, because you are foreign investors. And also this administration for President Boric has been very committed with a boost investment agenda, working, of course, with the sectorial permits. The international network of Invest Chile has grown in the last 2 years, so we can actually try to identify new sectors, new opportunities of investment, among others. Key investment opportunities for global challenges. Well, I don't need to say anything more here because you are here trying to hear something related to green energy. But we are also working in digital revolution with the deployment of 5G and digital economy, digital infrastructure. We also have working with electromobility, electric buses, clean generation technologies, just everything that goes towards to the decarbonization for 2040 and 2050. In Invest Chile, we don't just oversee the green energy industry. Of course, we try to work with this strategy that I mentioned before, some couple of slides ago. We have been working with mining and lithium industry, other of the key topics that Chile is currently having, trying to promote the opportunities in lithium industry, also food industry and recycling industry, and the digital economy, which is also have digital infrastructure for data centers, deployment of 5G, among others. But now that you want to hear something in green energy and green hydrogen, I don't want to take too much time because Alex mentioned before. But the thing is that Chile have so many opportunities in green hydrogen, and something that the foreign investor actually tremendously value is that Chile has this long-term energy planning scheme with this energy policy published in 2015, then updated in 2022, and then the initial agenda for a second stage of the energy transition is something that actually the foreign investors pretty value a lot, because it's a commitment of Chile to trying to grow in this path of the green energy and the decarbonization. Also, this long-term planning scheme has leading the country to be an important enabler to be leading the rankings of Bloomberg NEF Climate Scope, and also the EY Renewable Energies Country Attractiveness Index. That support us, that Chile is doing the things quite well in the energy industry for trying to bring more new investment. And another excellent tool that Chile has, of course, is the decarbonization plan that also help us to commit the decommissioning of coal-fired power plants to get the zero generation for until 2040. Well, I think here is, maybe you may know that Chile is a long country, and something that I want to mention is that in the north of Chile, the sun will always shine, and in the south of Chile, the wind will always blow. So I think Chile has a massive renewable resources to power the transition of green energy matrix. We have such massive potential with this, but also to have such potential position us in an advantageous way for our own decarbonization program, our own decarbonization goals, but also to make us enabler for the decarbonization of other economies. So we strongly believe that Chile is a strategic partner for other economies to get these decarbonization goals internationally. But even when we have such an amazing country with these amazing conditions, we have a challenge. And this challenge, of course, is to find ways to consume this energy internally or maybe export it, okay? So even when we think that we have such amazing opportunities, we have some challenges too. What we recognize as drivers to invest in the Chile energy sector, and here is, I'm going to be very brief. We have two graphs. The first one is from ACERA, which is a association for energy generation companies and storage companies, that show us the evolution and the expected projection in the installed capacity for energy generation. And even when we have this fast growth in our renewable energies for installed capacity, mainly explained because of the solar and the wind power, we still have this potential of 70 times to develop new potential in related to the current installed capacity. Also, in the second graph, which is the long-term energy planning which is what was developed by the Ministry of Energy, we want to show that this following growth curve for the upcoming years regarding the installed capacity by technology is also increasing. So I think two main ideas is that for the first graph, we still need to find some ways to use this electric availability internally, or try to export, or try to promote the new industries to use this new electricity. And the second graph, the thing is that storage is key. Green hydrogen. Something that I want to jump in very briefly, because we have Alex here with all the information that you may need, but this is quite the same as before. Likewise, Chile has managed all the development of the green hydrogen industry, and we have taken this as a state strategy, integrating all the challenges that we have of the sector into the public agendas that the ministry is currently working. Of course, we have the green hydrogen strategy launched in 2020. Then we have this strategical committee that Alex mentioned a lot in 2023, and now the action plan launched in 2024. Everything leads to green hydrogen, I think. And another opportunity that Invest Chile has recognized, of course, is the cost of green hydrogen that we think, and we, not just us, but also McKinsey, and there is a study that shows us that Chile could have the cheapest production cost of the green hydrogen on the planet, trying to get numbers around $1.5 per kilogram of green hydrogen. Of course, this not include the transport, the storage, and among other things that are below the graph. Just to be finishing, some highlights that the agency is currently working is, of course, everything along with the Ministry of Energy, green hydrogen national strategy, of course, the action plan. At the agency, we are currently advising 20 companies on projects for green hydrogen. several stages for over 15 billion. If you pay attention into the first slide, we have a portfolio of 33 billion of dollars, so these projects are pretty much the half. We also have the Green Hydrogen Action Plan that we are trying to promote internationally, but also, I want to show you this, and something that you have the postcard in your desk is the Green Hydrogen ebook that the agency has created this year. We launched this Green Hydrogen ebook in our International Investment Forum in May. So if you want to learn from for the industry, the green hydrogen industry from scratch, I think this is the best tool that you can have, because here you can find all the information related to the green hydrogen ecosystem in Chile. Opportunities, I think I mentioned a lot, but we see in three parts, in three steps: investment into development, loan, debt, equity, among others, to be part of the supply chain, or maybe to the off-takers, which is pretty famous to us too. Ebook, The Green Hydrogen in Chile, you can download directly to the postcard here. You have the postcard in your desk. Or also, you can visit our website, investchile.gov.cl, and you can find all the information that we have created along these years, and of course, the updates of the ebooks in other sectors. And just to close my presentation is something that I mentioned also in other presentation. This is something that I steal from a colleague of mine in Invest Chile. This is Magallanes, one of the second part that we try to create an ecosystem for developed green hydrogen. And this is something that we want to trespass to the new generations, and that's why I think we need green energies into Chile to, I think, preserve such amazing jewels that we have in Chile in our extremely south. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Catalina, for your clear explanation about the opportunities for the Korean investors looking for excellent chances for their businesses. Moving forward in the agenda, I offer the floor to Professor Kim Yong-kyu, Director of the Hanyang Institute for Energy and the Environment, as well as Dean of the School of International Studies of Hanyang University. His presentation is named Future of Global Hydrogen Trade, Implications for Chile and Korea. Professor Kim, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. University. I think my talk will be about, we heard a lot about, Chilean perspectives and what they are doing. Lots of things happening in Chile. My talk is about how these two countries, because you are here, Chile and the Republic of Korea, how these two countries can work together on hydrogen. That's the topic of my talk. And obviously, my research is about, the nexus between energy, politics, trade, and I'm thinking that hydrogen is one of the important energy commodities. Nuclear is important, natural gas is important. But hydrogen clearly will be one of the most important energy commodities in the future. And probably global trade in the future will be different. Geopolitics will be different. And maybe west of these countries will be different. I can safely say Chile, maybe beyond 2030, or 2035, obviously, will be a different country. In terms of wealth, in terms of power, the way Chile connects to different countries, great powers even, Chile will be a different country. You are saying that here, hydrogen will provide a window opportunity for Chile. I agree. You need to seize that opportunity. And I think hydrogen will bring all these opportunities to Chile. I'd like to say what opportunities will hydrogen bring to the Republic of Korea? Will these two countries can enjoy benefits of hydrogen prosperity? That's my question. And I think we need to work together to achieve these goals. Because Chile obviously will be a powerhouse in the hydrogen era as a supplier, especially as a probably number one exporter, you aimed at. And South Korea, I think, will be one of most important consumers. This is how Chile and South Korea meet together, complement each other. South Korea will be one of the important consumers, if not the biggest consumer, but important, pivotal consumer. So we need to collaborate. We need to collaborate. But how? How, in what areas? What areas of hydrogen value chains? We need to think about that. And I was in Chile last year. I was thinking about that. And I heard from many people about this. So maybe I can make a couple of comments about that at the end of my presentation. Before I move on to Chile and South Korea, maybe we can briefly touch bases on the current state of global hydrogen trade or production, consumption. If you see this is where hydrogen as an energy, important energy carrier, where hydrogen goes today. Hydrogen still very much unknown, very much minimal, because demand, according to IEA statistics, 2021, 94 million metric tons, but mostly traditional uses, like 54 of them for traditional industrial uses like ammonia, methanol, in chemical industries, or drilling. Refineries, 40 million metric tons. But the last one here, this is what we want to develop. New industrial uses and applications. This is what you're looking at. This is where innovation is required. But small percentage. What are these? Transportation, grid injection, power generation, grid balancing. We need that. We need hydrogen. Power generation. South Korea, obviously, we need hydrogen for some of these. I think South Korea, in terms of hydrogen, what we can do better, I think we don't have renewable energy. We don't have it, simply. We have been a weak country for a long time, fossil fuels. In the fossil fuel era, we were second-class country for a long time, but we survived. But in the renewable energy era, again, we don't have them. We don't have them. More serious. But we have technology. So this is how South Korea can contribute to the hydrogen value chain. We have technology. Maybe we can manufacture some of these electrolyzers or, fuel cell power generation. Korea is one of top countries. And, vehicles, fuel cell vehicles. Power generation, we need lots of hydrogen for our power generation system, electric system, because we have very much heavy fuel, dependent. We want to change it. Like you want to change, your like a mining system from diesel to hydrogen. So we need to develop that. We need innovation in that new industrial uses. Current demand, 94, will become 200 million. Maybe we can remember, we want to remember some of these figures. So at the moment, 94 hydrogen demand, but 2030, 200. We need 200 of them. So there will be dramatic increase in hydrogen demand, which is widely known, not surprising at all about this. And a couple of things I want to highlight. In the future, only 25% of demand, hydrogen will be traded. Only 25% of them by 2050. And another thing, green hydrogen will be a regional business, according to IEA reports. And derivatives will be traded internationally. Now, so having touching basis on some of these, some of the information about global hydrogen, let's move to Chile. Much has been talked, much has been discussed about Chile. We learned a lot about action plans. Why action plans? Because we are pretty much familiar with their green hydrogen strategy announced several years ago. Now, I think what you are doing is you want to put them into motion. You want to put strategy into working, right? That's why you need actions. You need actions. Otherwise, these strategies are only on paper, right? You don't want them on paper, right? So how do you put them into motion? You need action plans. So many action plans. I mean, some of these are very interesting. Very interesting. I learned that where you see many of these dilemmas in your hydrogen development, I can clearly see. Maybe I can pick one big highlight from some of these dilemmas facing Chilean hydrogen development. Obviously, you have the prospect of becoming #1 exporter of hydrogen, looking at increasing demand in the future. But at the same time, you want to export lots of hydrogen, meeting demand, but you don't want to remain as a resource supplier alone. I think this is the dilemma facing Chile. It's a good thing to earn revenues from exports of hydrogen, but you don't want to damage your environment. You don't want to damage. So you need to strike a balance between exporting hydrogen, developing hydrogen, but at the same time, keeping your environment. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Right? Inviting companies coming into Chile, recklessly developing hydrogen, you don't want that. You don't want that. Therefore, you need regulations. You need regulations, assessment, environmental assessment system. That's what I read in the action plans. But at the same time, you need efficient, speedy permitting system. Right? That system must be efficient enough to speed up the process. So I can clearly see the dilemmas. Some of these are good dilemmas. I can see the dilemmas facing your country. My question about this is that when aircrafts when you go to airports, right? Aircrafts prepare for flying, right? When they prepare, maybe 2 stages. Aircraft, taxi, right? Taxiing before takeoff. So making all these action plans, regulations, you are taxing right now. Taxing, making sure nothing hinders, right? Safety, So you are taxing. My question is, when will it be takeoff? Looking at this, when will it be takeoff period? The point of takeoff? Is it 2030 or before 2030? I think that depends on global dynamics. Depends on global dynamics. I think looking at Ukraine and others in the European hydrogen dynamics, due to national security considerations emanating from Ukraine war, Europeans are speeding up hydrogen consumption. But how about Japan and in Korea? Different here. So the way Europeans are reacting to global energy situation and hydrogen dynamics, the way Europeans are reacting, the way Japan and Korea are reacting a little different, because these two continents are important hubs of hydrogen demand. So you need to analyze what's going on in Europe, what's going on in East Asia, Northeast Asia, Japan and South Korea. A little different dynamics. So when is it take off? My view, reading your materials and hearing today and comparing to my trip to Chile last year and my readings at the time, materials, takeoff seems to be a little bit pushed off. Is it? Right, that's my sense. Then I want to ask why. Why the takeoff period kind of pushed off a little bit? Then obviously, this seems to indicate that after 2030, you want to really put hydrogen into export, right? That's kind of, we can see from these, like a roadmap and timelines. And another thing, in the action plan document, I also learned that in developing hydrogen economy, by simply exporting hydrogen doesn't get Chile to be a leader or decarbonize successfully. So you want to have 2 goals, like a domestic hydrogen economy development on one hand, and at the same time you want to develop hydrogen for exports. So these 2 things go together. These 2 things go together. So in this respect, you want to develop, like a transport sector. You want to mobilize maybe fuel cell hydrogen vehicles, commercial one, maybe passenger one. So it's going to be an important goal. And especially, this is one of the recommendations for collaboration between these 2 countries, because South Korea is a little advanced in terms of fuel cell vehicles, passenger and commercial, maybe heavy duty as well. Maybe South Korea can go there, Chile, and provide these fuel cell vehicle technology first priority, first and foremost, in the mining sector. Mining trucks. So Hyundai jointly developing fuel cell engine for mining trucks in Chile. I don't know how many mining trucks in Chile. Maybe in the northern area, at least I think, is it hundreds of thousands? So that's a huge drain on carbon emissions. So this is one important area of collaboration between these two countries. South Korea, well, like I said, South Korea is an important country in the global hydrogen dynamics. The way South Korea comes in as a player in hydrogen dynamics is that, number one, we need lots of hydrogen because South Korean economy is based on heavy industries. South Korean economy is heavy industries. So decarbonization, when decarbonization enters second or third stage, like it deepens, when decarbonization deepens, inevitably we need to mobilize hydrogen. We need to mobilize in the industries. But at the moment, as you could see here, we released maybe one of the first country in drawing out hydrogen roadmap back in 2019, one of the first countries in the world. So released roadmap for hydrogen economy development. Then the second milestone, 2022, November. So we came out with the revision of the roadmap, November 2022. So I'd like you to find out what is contained in that revision, revised roadmap as of November 2022. I'd like you to look a little bit at what's contained. If I can summarize what is contained in the second roadmap, first, the first stage of hydrogen economy in South Korea was overly concentrated on vehicles. Overly concentrated. Hydrogen economy is just fuel cell vehicle. That's it. Nothing other than that. But after November 2022, we branch off, okay? Branch off into other areas, like more difficult areas, like a DRI, okay? Like a steel industry. You want to use hydrogen for steel industries. And not just fuel cell power generation, we want to burn pure hydrogen or ammonia for like a power generation. It's a little different. So we want to expedite decarbonization in the power sector. That is contained in the second roadmap. My trip to Chile last year, along with KEPCO, at the time I met probably Vice President of AES Andes at the time. I remember that. At that time, we were on a business trip to find out where KEPCO could purchase ammonia on an off-take basis. That was the goal. Because like a burning ammonia or hydrogen, although it requires technology, was a quite urgent issue at the time. Urgent issue, according to our decarbonization plan. So we were on a kind of a buying spree. So that's the change, and more sophisticated industrial use of hydrogen will follow from now on. Now next, I want to skip this. Finally, then, as I said, how these two countries can work together. What areas, right? I mentioned mining trucks, like a technology development, one thing I recommended. Second, probably you mentioned the trade route development, green trade route. I think one of the biggest issue is how do we put these hydrogen or derivatives on ships, but without converting back to hydrogen when they land at a port in Korea. How do we, without converting back to hydrogen, can we use it directly when we offload it from ships? That's a most difficult technological issue. So maybe, I don't know the progress of technology here in this country, but I came across very interesting news about like a leading edge technology in this respect developed by a startup in Korea. So you might want to find out about that. And the company name I forgot, but it was just hit the headlines in South Korean news media. So you might want to find out about that. We can maybe collaborate on these aspects as well. And that table, I want to leave you with this, leave you with this table. This one is from, again, Global Hydrogen Review, like one of like a high-profile reports in the hydrogen area. If you look at this, they predict, although this predict was a couple of years ago, when they predict hydrogen will be exported by 2030, 12 million tons altogether, globally, 12 million tons. And this 12 million tons will be distributed among different countries. But the biggest portion will come from South and Latin America. 3 countries, Brazil, Argentina, Chile. A little more than 3 million tons altogether. But what is surprising about this figure is that evenly distributed. So I wonder why Brazil is so big here and Argentina is. So this is my question. Second, this is Australia. Australia, single country alone, can account for almost 3 million tons. So as one of big consumers, we look at this. When we study these, we compare these countries. Then asking ourselves where we can import, by what standards, under what conditions. I mean, there are many factors that impact these decisions. Our import decision, many considerations. So I leave you with that. Thank you very much.
Professor Kim, we deeply appreciate your insights on the global supply chain and the future of the hydrogen energy trade and how Chile and Korea can get closer on it. After these 3 brilliant presentations, we have time for our distinguished attendees for a Q&A session of 15 minutes with the 3 panelists. So I would like to invite Director Santander, Manager Perez, and Professor Kim to the stage. And if you have any inquiry, please raise your hand, introduce yourself, and ask the question indicating to whom is addressed. Thank you. Well, having said this, if anyone has any question for our distinguished speakers, please raise your hand.
Hi, everyone. I'm a Hanyang student, and I have a question for the Alex Santander. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation. And during your presentation, you mentioned that in Chile, they can pay only for the energy and power taken from the grid, not for H2 production. So I cannot understand how it's possible, like who's going to pay or where you are going to put the capital expenditures or other expenditures for H2 production. Like, do you have some special mechanism or something like this?
Okay. It's working? Yeah. Thank you for the question. I think you're talking about a generation consumption system when I mentioned that. I think that. Our regulation today, every demand that it's connected to the electric power grid must pay for the transmission power system and for the lateral costs, ancillary service, and other ones, in proportion of that each demand as well. When these kind of projects have auto generation related with the project, but the project needs to connect to the power grid for security conditions, for outages conditions, or another one, if you apply the current regulation as well, the project must pay for the transmission power system and the lateral cost, only considering the proportion of the demand side and not of the auto generation side. So with this change in our regulation, we're gonna define a formula in order to ensure a just pay for this kind of projects related with that kind of base, only for the energy and power provided from the grid to the generation and consumption system as one. And that it's so important because in the cash flow, annual cash flow, the cost of the transmission power lines and the lateral cost is so important for this kind of project, considering the demand, the important demand. I don't know, for example, one of these projects, it's gonna be a capacity of 2 gigawatts, and our maximum demand today, it's about 12,000 gigawatts. So the cost for this kind of projects, considering current regulation, it's so important, and that's the reason why we are working in a change in this way. I know if the things that you're gonna expect it to know, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question? No? Yep. Please.
안녕하세요. 네, 저는 한국의 건축 설계를 하는 아키텍트입니다. 패션 건축의 에드워드 킴이라고 합니다. 한 기술적인 네. 네, 기술적인 부분의 토픽을 3가지를 한번 제안하고자 합니다. 네, 저는 이제 한국의 패션 아키텍트의 건축 설계하는 에드워드 킴이라고 그러고요. 한국에 이미 4년 전에 그 CES에 아시는 대로 수소 하이드로젠을 가지고 그 드론, 즉 그 회사 이름이 하이페리온이라는 회사가 이미 저 칠레 수소 하이드로젠 포함해서 이미 드론으로 팩을 달아서 수송을 시작했답니다. 따라서 혹시 칠레 드론을 좀 더 알리기 위한 방법이라면은 조금 더 한국에 갖고 있는 그 수소팩 그걸 다른 드론의 전기 배터리가 아니고 이런 한국의 하이페리온이라는 회사 등등등을 통한 이런 어떤 테스트베드 즉 하이엔드의 상품의 콘셉트 플랜을 한번 만들어 봐서 한번 프로모션을 하는 게 좀 더 칠레의 어떤 다이나믹한 프로모션에 알리는 데 좋은 기술이 될 것 같아서 제안 아닌 제안을 드리는 게 지금 수소팩이 달린 한국형 드론을 한번 이벤트를 하자. 그게 재미있는 제안을 하고요. 두 번째는 이미 갖고 있는 하이드로젠도 어떤 퀄리티, 수율, 프로테이지가 있다 그러면은 좀 더 수율이 높은 아이디어가 그레이드가 있다 그러면 바이오매스의 한 원료라면은 무인 언맨디드 UAM처럼 그런 어떤 무인 선박 이런 쪽에 한번 테스트를 한번 해보실 수 있는 어떤 기회가 있는지 그게 한 두 가지 말씀을 드리고요. 세 번째는 아까 말씀대로 한국에도 이미 아다시피 원소스 멀티유저로 에너지 믹스라는 게 있습니다. 즉 에너지 솔라 패널 플러스 그다음 지오메디칼의 서멀 포함해서 지금 하이드로젠을 같이 혼용한 에너지 믹스를 쓴 어떤 훌륭한 방법이 테스트베드로 있으면은 좀 더 진짜 다이나믹한 칠레 정부의 어떤 좀 의지가 전 세계에 좀 알릴 수 있는 좋은 기회 같아서 제가 건축가
Sir, please,
입장에서
can you short your question,
감사합니다.
please?
네, 말씀 주세요.
¿Quién va a responder? Responde. Dale.
Where did you need drones in Chile?
Drones.
Hydrogen fuel drones.
Drones, no drones. Drones.
Sorry. We would like to ask you if you could repeat us the first question later, if it's possible. But regarding to the second questions about this was the drones question. No, it was the third one. The third one, no. Maybe you can answer the second one. About the second questions about the opportunities and how we can work together, something that Invest Chile does is actually try to promote this new opportunity that new companies has for Chile, for local market, and also for markets that are closer to Chile, just in Latin America, for example. We try to put you in contact with associations. We try to make it work, your marketing plan. So actually you can find some clients in Chile, some new customers, and you can check with us if you can, first of all, have the opportunity to have clients in Chile regarding your company. It's not easier sometimes because some companies come to Chile trying to check new opportunities in some particular projects or particular services, but considering that Chile is a so small market, normally what we suggest to them is try to set up the company in Chile and take the benefits and advantage from free trade agreements around that we have around the world, and try to not just supply the local market, but also try to supply the markets that are that have free trade agreement with us or that are closer to us in Latin America. I'm not quite sure if that answered your question.
Yeah, Alex?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'm going to try to answer some things. We are here because we shared a vision as a countries. This is important to mention before my answer. And every technological transfer, it's so important to establish a cooperation between our countries in different kind of technologies that you mentioned in your question. But in the case of Chile, for this decade, we are looking, or we are put our attention in local demand related mainly with two kind of demands for our countries as well. The first one is to use green ammonia for some thermal power plants, coal thermal power plants in our country, because we are facing right now a phasing out process of our coal thermal power plants, but it's not quite easy to retire all our thermal power plants because we need the security condition for the power grids in some units. So all our effort for our decarbonization commitments and our decarbonizations commitment about the NDCs or Paris Agreement, for example, it's going in this case of demand. And the other one, Chile has a lot of mining companies, of course, mining demand, and we are looking how to introduce green hydrogen as fuel cells, for example, in the heavy trucks related with the mining companies as well. Every other kind of technology related with the production part of the value chain or the demand part of the value chain, it's welcome to analyze, of course, but the main portion of our efforts, it's going to be in that kind of industry, power generations and mining companies, at least looking for 2030. Before 2030, maybe we are opening the demand and technologies for another kind of uses. For example, vehicles using fuel cells, and another one. But I don't know. That is our answer. And it's so important to be here in Korea, just for your evolution in technology things and in your experience about industrialization countries as well. So welcome to work together in those kind of things.
Thank you so much. We have time for one more question. Please.
Thank you for the chance. My name is Ade Haira. I'm student from Hanyang University. I want to ask to Ms. Catalina Perez. I'm interested with the green corridors that you said before about the green corridors. That the project will be led by Ministry of Energy. I just want to know about the what is the government role of these green corridors, and this project will be public sector or private sector or collaborating between public or private, and maybe what's the benefit that let's say what benefit for the investor about this project? Maybe just say thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. I think Alex could be answering first because it's an initiative that is from the Ministry of Energy, and maybe then I can support with some things related to the foreign investors. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Catalina. Yeah, in our case, green corridors are so important because Chile it's an exporter country by definition. Some of our products are exported to the international markets, and we need to establish a greener, progressive condition for that kind of products. So we define a goal in our green hydrogen action plan, related with to be or to have the first Latin American maritime route greener as well. And it's so important because, as I said, all our products requires ships to bring the products to the ports around the world. So that's because it's so important, because we depend of that in order to ensure the low carbon footprint of our products as well. So that is a reason why we are pushing right now this kind of things, and we are working with different international cooperation and organizations on that, developing different pre-feasibilities and feasibilities studies that show how Chile is competitive in introduce the first green corridors around the world, ensure that. So it's very important for us, and I don't know if requires some incentives or something like that in the future. We're gonna be the mechanism, but it's a very urgent goal for Chile to create this kind of green corridors for our products.
I think you answered pretty much the question, but from the point of view of Invest Chile, of course, we try to advise and give all the information for these new investors in green corridors. We are trying also to promote this opportunity abroad, internationally, and all the markets that we want to, bring the investment into Chile. Also because we are not just working in the green hydrogen industry itself, but also all the ecosystem in the infrastructure, logistic, you also say ports, and this could be, of course, from the Invest Chile point of view, we try to bring more private investment into the country, but it doesn't mean that we can also work with the public incentives or public investment that can, boost this new, how can I say, maybe tool or maybe new, I don't know, support to the green hydrogen industry. Maybe we could try to answer it in the better way. If you have any more questions, maybe we can talk in detail later. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Time flies, as you can see, and now it's coming to an end, our Chile Day today. I would especially thank to Professor Kim Yong-kyu, Manager Catalina Perez, Director Alex Santander, and all you distinguished guests that are coming here today, spending your valuable time here. Thank you so much.